Last night, tensions escalated between Israel and Hezbollah as Israel conducted a series of airstrikes on Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon. The Israeli military claims these strikes were a preemptive measure against a planned massive rocket assault by Hezbollah. They report having destroyed dozens of Hezbollah's rocket launchers and deployed over 100 warplanes in the operation. In response, Hezbollah launched a substantial counterattack early this morning around 5 a.m., firing more than 300 rockets and drones at Israeli positions. Hezbollah has described this as a large-scale attack, a direct retaliation for the recent killing of their commander Fouad Shukr in an Israeli strike in Beirut last month. Stay tuned for the latest updates on this escalating conflict. The Israeli military claims to have intercepted Hezbollah rockets and drones over northern Israel. It's unclear how many people are involved. Israel claims Hezbollah intended to attack vast areas of the north as well as locations in central Israel. This could have been mitigated in part by what Israel refers to as preemptive air assaults on southern Lebanon. Around 7 o'clock a.m., smoke was seen in the south of Lebanon following an Israeli attack. Explosion when the Israeli Air Force shoots down a Hezbollah drone. Around 4:30 a.m., warning sirens were sounded throughout northern Israel. Because of the country's security situation, all flights to and from Tel Aviv airport have been canceled. The airport was reopened about 6 o'clock. Reporter Sander Van Horn from Tel Aviv. There's an emergency ordinance in place throughout Israel. That means staying alert for official instructions and the possibility of an air raid siren. However, only in the extreme north are people advised to remain indoors, or near a bomb shelter or Mamed, which is a specifically fortified room found in many homes in this area. The morning rush hour in Tel Aviv began slightly later than it does in the Netherlands on Monday morning. In any case, it's quieter here due to the holiday season. Shops are open and buses operate as usual. At the moment, the situation appears to be stabilizing and returning to normal. However, this usually means that the shelling continues along the border in northern Israel and southern Lebanon. Just before 6 a.m., Hezbollah announced that the first phase of their strike on Israel was accomplished. According to the insurgent movement, 320 rockets were launched and 11 military targets were struck. Hezbollah claims the attack against Israel was successful. Furthermore, the militant movement doubts Israel's assertions that it stopped a large-scale attack. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah will deliver a speech later today. Correspondent Daisy Moore-Vanu at Beirut. There was no air alarm in Lebanon, so many people in the south were woken up overnight by hard explosions and Israeli attacks. In the remainder of the country, Lebanese are waking up to this Free Sameh news. What happened here and what the true objective was will most likely become clearer in the near future, as the damage on both sides becomes more visible. In any case, Hezbollah claims it as a success and declares that the first phase of their campaign on Israel has ended. Hezbollah claims their attack is in reprisal for the death of leader Fouad Shukr at the end of July. The entire retribution exercise will take some time. Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, will deliver a speech this afternoon, during which he may provide additional details. Following the liquidation of Shukr, it was stated that an answer would be provided, and the region has been waiting for one in recent weeks. The timing is noteworthy since high-level negotiations on a ceasefire in Gaza will take place today in Cairo. Israel claims its attack last night was in self-defense. We saw that right next to the homes of civilians in southern Lebanon. Hezbollah was preparing a major attack on Israel, Israeli army spokesperson Daniel Hagari said in a video uploaded on X overnight, following the bombings on southern Lebanon and before Hezbollah sent its warning. We warn civilians, they should leave Hezbollah territory for their own safety. Israeli army justifies actions as self-defense amid tensions with Hezbollah. In a recent escalation of regional tensions, the Israeli military has launched rockets towards southern Lebanon, claiming that the action was necessary to intercept and neutralize an imminent counterattack from Hezbollah. This move comes amid a series of heightened hostilities between the two parties, with both sides engaging in a dangerous game of brinkmanship. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has publicly defended the country's aggressive stance, asserting that the government is resolute in its commitment to protecting Israeli citizens. Our foremost priority is to ensure the safety and security of our people, Netanyahu declared. Anyone who seeks to harm us will face a strong and decisive response. Netanyahu elaborated on the recent developments, stating that Israeli intelligence had detected Hezbollah's preparations for a significant assault on northern Israel. In response, Israel's military successfully targeted and destroyed thousands of missiles that were reportedly aimed at Israeli territory, thereby mitigating potential threats and averting further risks. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz has expressed a more cautious perspective, emphasizing that while the country is prepared to defend itself robustly, it does not seek a full-scale conflict. Katz conveyed that Israel's approach is being carefully calibrated to the evolving situation, indicating a preference for a measured response rather than an all-out confrontation. The situation remains fluid and tense, with both sides on high alert. As the conflict continues to unfold, the international community watches closely, hoping for a de-escalation of hostilities and a return to dialogue to address the underlying issues driving the current conflict. Reporter Sander Van Horn from Tel Aviv. The current situation remains tense and uncertain as the conflict between Hezbollah and Israel continues to unfold. Hezbollah has declared that the first phase of their retaliatory attack has concluded. Both parties assert that they do not anticipate escalating into a full-scale war, but the situation is still fluid and unpredictable. Reports for Israeli and American media indicate that Israel undertook a night operation aimed at neutralizing rockets that were reportedly targeted at Tel Aviv, which were allegedly scheduled for launch in the early hours. However, there is no definitive confirmation of these claims. The precise intentions of Hezbollah regarding an attack on Tel Aviv, home to the Israeli Ministry of Defense, remain speculative and could be part of a potential subsequent phase of their strategy. Additionally, the specifics surrounding the weapons and drones used in the recent strikes against Hezbollah are still unclear. The exact nature of the missiles and drones deployed, as well as the impact they had, has not been fully detailed. This lack of information leaves key questions unanswered about the extent and effectiveness of the recent military actions on both sides. The extent of damage to private properties from recent hostilities seems to be relatively contained. However, the impact on military outposts in northern Israel remains uncertain. Reports on this matter are delayed due to strict military censorship, which restricts the immediate dissemination of such sensitive information. In response to the escalating situation, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin has engaged in discussions with Israel's defense minister. During their conversation, Austin underscored Israel's inherent right to defend itself against attacks from Hezbollah, as well as threats posed by Iran and its allied factions. This affirmation of support highlights the broader geopolitical dimensions of the conflict. Despite the ongoing exchanges of fire between the conflicting parties, the Israeli delegation is continuing its participation in the ceasefire negotiations in Cairo. These talks, aimed at achieving a resolution, are proceeding as planned, according to reports from the Israeli military radio station. This ongoing diplomatic engagement underscores Israel's commitment to seeking a peaceful resolution amid the hostilities. Navigating the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East can be incredibly complex. If you're looking to understand the key players and how they interact, you're in the right place. Stay tuned as we dive into the intricate web of countries and groups shaping the region's dynamics. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on this ever-evolving topic.